All I got is missed calls on my line, yeah. Never seen a pick up right on time, yeah. If I don't call back.
What's up, guys? Welcome into episode 132 of the Missed Call Podcast. This is Cubwood, and as always, I'm here with Sauce Sartori. And on today's show, we have NFL draft prospect CJ Marable from Coastal Carolina. Big ass mother effing show. The boys are back. Week of hiatus. It's all good. We have a life outside of this little thing we do here. People forget that, Sauce. We're like Hall of Fame athletes. People forget we have lives.
I'm trying to find your correlation.
We're like Hall of Famers that don't get written in. Oh, too soon. Sorry. Ooh, voted in, whatever.
Yeah. I'm trying to find your correlation.
There's zero correlation. I was just hyping us up.
Okay, got it. All right. We are Hall of Famers that haven't been voted in because we took a week of hiatus.
Steroid use, yes.
Got it. Yes. Okay. I think I track. Maybe. But regardless, we're back. We have a huge first half of the show combined with a huge interview with CJ Marable. As Cub said, well, you bring up this talk of Hall of Fame, and I think that might be the best place to start this show, grinding our gears. And I'll let you go first.
We'll just start it off by titling it, "The MLB Writers Get It Wrong Once Again." Now, my initial thoughts when I found out yesterday that there will be 0 people voted into the MLB Hall of Fame, I thought, 1, that should be illegal. 2, there should be a minimum. We discussed this last year when it was just Jeter and Walker last year, and how I felt like there should be at least a minimum of 4 people getting voted in every single year. That's just a waste of a year. This is the first time since 1960 that no one has been voted in. It's 60 years ago, which is idiotic. It's stupid. And I just can't believe that no one's getting voted in. That makes absolute no sense. And then, I feel like baseball, it's like the hardest sport to get voted in. Usually, you hear about the NBA Hall of Fame, and no one even bats an eye because you're like, oh, of course, no, duh, they're gonna get in. And then football is like, everyone gets in, and in every class is just iconic as the last. They just keep getting better and better. And what really drives me nuts about baseball is, right now, this is our childhood. These are our childhood stars that we watched growing up. So it hurts the people we watched aren't getting in. And I think it's absolutely stupid. And then if you want to tie in the steroids and how Curt Schilling is just a piece of shit, there are tons of pieces of shits and other cheaters inside the Hall of Fame as we speak. We could just bring up Ty Cobb because that's the easiest one. Ty Cobb is probably the biggest piece of shit possibly in the Hall of Fame. That guy is an absolute psychopath.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The Baseball Writers Association of America, the BBWAA, which I'm sure if you're on sports Twitter, you probably have seen that acronym. That's what it stands for. That's the group of 400 writers and media members and honorary members that get to vote on who exactly makes the Hall of Fame. And there are rules and regulations to how you can vote. And it's about integrity, I guess. It's about the collection of work you had on the field. There's a couple of different things that go into it. I just have such a problem with baseball right now because baseball is the guarded sport, right? There are gatekeepers to baseball. Only certain people can play this sport, and you have to act a certain way, and you must conduct yourself this way. And if you don't, we will shun you. And we saw that last season when Fernando Tatis did the bat flip. We've seen it before when, people telling Latin players to straighten their hats. We've seen it, right? We've seen it in a bunch of different ways of people passing judgment, thinking that they're better. Baseball was at least for a long time a sport dominated by white people. They didn't allow black people in until the late 40s with obviously Jackie Robinson. And it's sad that some of that history, some of that baseline racism in sports is still kind of there, but it's also, when it's not racism, it's judgment, right? That's one issue that you can point to in this situation with the Hall of Fame. The other thing that you can look at is the fact that writers, use this opportunity as a publicity stunt, right? They can either choose to put their ballots out publicly or not. And they think that, the problem is they've been given too much power, because at the end of the day,
they can hold a grudge the entirety of that person's life.
Right. Well, they've been given too much power for that reason. They've been given too much power because their opinions now matter, right? Because at the end of the day, a writer's opinion truly does not matter if Barry Bonds hit 755
It only
home
matters
runs
to
or
the
not.
fans that read them.
Exactly. So a writer's opinion truly does not matter. There has to be some reform to the way that the Baseball Hall of Fame is voted upon, because what we have now is very archaic. It's old school, which is something that baseball old heads have been stuck on for far too long now. It's time for change. It's time for renovation. It's time for innovation in this game. And, that's another reason. I just think, maybe a final reason is that baseball profited off of the careers of these guys, right? If you think about, and I was just having this conversation yesterday after the news of nobody being inducted into the 2021 Baseball Hall of Fame. When you think about it, in 1994, there was the strike shortened season. There was no World Series. They were late getting back to the 95 season. And really, baseball had lost the eye of most Americans. Most Americans moved away from the game of baseball. And then the home run chase happened, and people started hitting dingers. And it's true, chicks dig
the long ball.
The long ball, right? And people in general dug the long ball, and it brought people back to the game. The home run race in 1998 between McGwire and Sosa brought people back to the game. That 1994 strike was such a blemish in the history of baseball because they couldn't get a collective bargaining agreement done. And it led to the termination of the Montreal Expos. They became the Washington Nationals because the fans weren't turning out to those games anymore. The Expos, at the time the season ended, were in the lead. They were the best team, and they ended up getting fucked out of their season, and they ended up getting moved out of Montreal because of it. Baseball profited off of these guys. They profited off of their careers. They know what they did. Bud Selig turned a blind eye to all of this. Bud Selig's in the Hall of Fame. Bud Selig was in charge during all of this, knew it was happening. You've heard the story of steroids being in the locker of Mark McGwire.
Right here, literally right here in the interview.
And they did nothing about it. They knew what they were doing. They profited off these people, and now that it's time to give them the credit they deserve because they did save baseball. They did. Now that it's time to give them the credit they deserve, baseball writers who are whoever the fuck.
Yeah,
they're
people.
Whoever
they're people.
the fuck.
They're just people.
Their opinions matter too much, and it's time for reform.
I was thinking about this today. I'm glad you brought up the Fernando Tatis thing. I was thinking, like, say in 20 years, obviously there's still going to be steroids, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. What if people aren't getting in because they flip bats? You know what I mean? It's already that petty.
What if people aren't getting in because they weren't good to the media, right? Well, like Barry Bonds was notably awful to the media. I just wrapped up reading Joe Buck's autobiography, and he told a story of meeting Barry Bonds, and Bonds was very rude to him. And it was their initial meeting, like not like a, hey, nice to meet you. It was somebody introduced the two, a common friend that had said, hey, this is Joe Buck. He's broadcasting some of our games. And Barry Bonds said, why do I give a fuck? Right? Like, you give the power to the people that you treat it like shit. Of course he's not getting in, but like, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame that the all-time leader in home runs isn't in the Hall of Fame. The all-time leader in hits isn't in the Hall of Fame because of old, stodgy, crotchety people who think that their opinions matter more than the history of the game. If it's about purity, if it's about keeping the Hall of Fame pure, that ended a long time ago. If you can sit here and tell me confidently there are no cheaters in the Hall of Fame, nobody in the Hall of Fame used any type of performance enhancer. Nobody in the Hall of Fame is there are literal KKK members in baseball's Hall of Fame. Ty Cobb used to spike people in the face.
He used to sharpen his cleats.
And he is a Hall of Famer, and he is valued as one of the greatest baseball players of all time. There is a problem, Cub. There is a problem in baseball, and the issue is, and the issue that continues to be, is that baseball refuses to change. And because of that, people are moving away from the sport at a rapid pace.
So I had a class where Fred B. Mitchell, the first African-American writer in Chicago, he was my teacher. And I talked about this in class because that was like part of the thing. You just bring up a topic and you discuss it in class. And I brought it up and I asked him, I'm like, do you vote for Bonds? And he said no, because of his media, because how he had treated the media and the steroid thing. And he said, if Bonds gets in, everybody else that took steroids has to get in. And I'm thinking, I don't care.
I don't care either. Who actually, who fucking cares? Who cares?
Like you always say, it's a museum.
Ray Lewis aided and abetted in a murder, and he was a first ballot Hall of Famer in the NFL. I love and respect Ray Lewis for what he did for the game of football, which is what that Hall of Fame is for. Barry Bonds, it is not the Hall of Fame of how did you treat the media.
OJ's in there.
OJ committed a fucking murder.
The glove didn't
OJ
fit.
committed a murder.
Two murders.
It is not the hall of how you treated the media. It is not the hall of who and who did not use steroids or who did not cheat, because there have been cheaters over the years. Steve Largent, if you look at the NFL Hall of Fame, Steve Largent, I believe, is a Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. And he used to coat his elbow to the tips of his fingers. He would coat it in what's called stickum.
Yeah.
And that would, you throw your arm up and the ball would stick to your forearm.
There was a Raiders corner that used to do that too.
If you can confidently tell me that Nolan Ryan never used pine tar, stuck something in his back pocket for extra grip, you can't tell me that it is a pristine Hall of Fame. Because it's not. People, the fans of the game, I think that there is a large majority of fans that want him there, that want Pete Rose there, that want Alex Rodriguez next year and David Ortiz. And the list goes on and on. These guys contributed to the game in ways that people who didn't cheat never could have. Even if they did cheat, they could have never done what Barry Bonds did. You still have to put bat to ball. I know I've said it on this podcast, and I'll say it again. Steroids don't make you hit the ball better. If that was the case, Melky Cabrera would be an MVP. He's not. He's not an MVP.
All-star, and that's when he took the roids. Is fucking hysterical.
Steroids are to keep you on the field to do your job. And when you can't be on the field, you can't break records. 162 games is a lot of fucking games to play in one season. If you see a guy play 162 games in a season, that guy isn't normal. He's not like other people. But that guy also is probably taking something to help him stay on the field and stay healthy, because that's just the nature of baseball.
Cal Ripken, we're on to you. We're on to you, Cal. All right.
That's what I got.
Let's get off our high horses and let's get into some good stuff. Sauce, you're back in the booth.
Yes, and I'm back in the booth, and I couldn't be happier about it because so I did Saturday's game. It was a men's basketball game against North Park University, and when I came out of the stadium, I can't explain to you the euphoric high that I was on. Like, it was like a drug high.
The guy got high. Hey, we might have to get you a drug test. You can't dope and be on this podcast.
But it was, well, I guess now I will never make it into the Podcasters Hall of Fame because I took
You are suspended from the Thick
serotonin.
You're suspended from the Thick Athlete Society for 1 week. You cannot come to the buffets. I'll leave you the scraps.
Okay, thank you, Janitor Cub. No, but I mean, it's a thrill, man. And I was talking with my general manager at the station today, and it was nice to be able to sit down and talk to him and say, hey, I feel this year in a lot of different facets that I'm on my toes. Last year, I felt, especially at the radio station, I felt like I was kind of on my heels. I wasn't necessarily confident in everything that I was doing, but this year I feel like I'm running downhill. I'm on my toes. I'm attacking. I'm getting better. Like I noticed even in myself going from game 1 to game 2, I called a women's game on Monday night. And I felt like I got better in that game. And it's just it's a tremendous feeling for me. I don't want to sit here and toot my own horn for so long that people roll their eyes, but I fucking love this job, dude. I don't ever want to do anything else in my life than do play-by-play for all sports.
This just in. Scouting report is in. Sauce is a downhill runner.
Yeah,
The running back. Hey, running back episode, running back scouting report on Sauce. Look at that.
You're damn right. But yeah, I'll just give a quick shout out. Like if anybody out there listening does want to tune in to some of my play-by-play, radio.com app, WONC 89.1 FM. Tune in, follow me on my social media, and I'll let you know when I'm going on air. But just have the app, stay tuned, and critique me when I'm bad. Make sure you tell me when I'm bad so I can get better.
And then he'll overthink it, and then you guys look like assholes.
And I yield my time.
All right, so the best thing for me is my parents came last week because they went to a wedding on Saturday.
Nice.
And let me tell you, them coming from Florida and not being used to the city life really just it's not right in my gears, but I'm just going to complain about them real quick because they're old and they're my parents. So we go out to dinner. First of all, my parents got in their first Uber in their entire life last Wednesday.
Wow.
Right? Weird.
They're like, is this a taxi? I'm not.
They're like, get in the front. I'm like, you can't. There's a pandemic going on.
Right.
And then we go out to dinner, and the lady brings us through the restaurant outside, like to a sort of half inside, half outside area. And my mom goes, why are we outside?
Right.
I'm like, where are you? What year is it?
No, it's 2021. The pandemic already ended.
Process it. She's like, I'm going to ask to move. I'm like, well, good luck. We might not get to move.
Right.
Luckily, we got a good seat. Got some dinner with the Rents. Gino met my parents. It's like we're dating, and Gino and I. Other than that, it was really brief. My dad's like, I don't want to leave our little guy. And I was like, hey, get out. You're driving me nuts.
Well,
it's just weird. It was just so weird having them up, but it was so cool having them. I wish it was summertime when they came up because it would have been a better time for all of us because you could do
outdoor dining.
Yeah, and my mom wouldn't be freezing her ass off.
Aim's got to put a little meat on the bones. Eat a burger or two, and she'll be all right. Here's the thing.
The thing was, they had no clothes. They didn't have clothes.
They were naked. Aim is a thin woman, and she's got thin skin, thin blood. Not thin skin. That would imply she's old, and she's not. But thinner blood because of where she lives in the world, right? Her geographic location. And so she's not prepared for the Chicago cold like she used to be.
Phil is too, dude. Phil's like,
right.
Phil's $160, so that guy gets cold when it's 55.
That's frustrating. I hate when people say, "Hey, it's cold outside."
I'm like, no, it's long sleeve weather.
55 degrees outside. You can wear jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah, if the sun's out, you can wear shorts.
Exactly.
All right, moving on.
Chicago sports dick kick of the week. Close your eyes for just a second as I take you on a journey. It'll be just a sentence, right?
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky finally gets his ring in Chicago. Not a Super Bowl ring, an engagement ring, as him and his girlfriend Hillary are engaged. They are betrothed to one another, and I just thought it was funny because the memes are going to come. Like Mitch gets his ring,
and then he's cut.
Hopefully, he doesn't get cut from that team. That would be. I don't root for that outcome for young Mitch.
Someone tweeted out that rock looks pretty big for someone who's not going to be employed soon.
I'm sure he's got his money tied up in very good places.
Oh God. All right, what do we got next?
I kind of wanted to just take a quick aside because I don't want to get too far away from it. But I wanted to bring up Jared Porter, the situation with the now former general manager of the New York Mets. Yes, very much L on the forehead, loser, dickhead. Yes,
creep,
all of that.
Fuck.
Creep. One of the things we do here on this podcast, and if you don't know, now you know, is that we are here for women in sports. This is a podcast. This is a platform for women in sports, whether you are playing the sport or you're behind the scenes or you're a reporter or whatever. Women belong in professional sports. Period, point blank, end of story. That's the statement. What Jared Porter did was disgusting, predatory, and I mean, we can use the word
62
creepy.
Unmessaged texts. You should go to jail just for that.
Well, they weren't unmessaged texts. They were messaged texts.
I meant
they were just unread.
I meant unread. Sorry, I got excited.
It's okay.
62 unread messages. That is disgusting. And first of all, there's got to be something wrong with you if you think after, we'll say 5, you don't respond after the 5th text. Don't fucking text them again.
Well, the problem was, and I don't know how many people were able to really read up on what happened, but the problem was is she was a foreign reporter.
Yeah. And
the foreign reporter who did not give her name so she did not have to face scrutiny in her home country, which she has fled to. So her being foreign, Porter knew that he could be a predator to this woman because she didn't necessarily know the linguistics. She didn't know how the English language works. And it was 62 unread text messages that at the very end resulted in an unsolicited dick pic, right?
He sent her 17 photos of this Los Angeles hotel. 17.
And let me just say that it's not because it's in sports that this is disgusting. This
happens to like every single woman you've ever spoken to.
This is disgusting all across the board. If you are an individual who has ever sent an unsolicited dick pic to a woman, and if you're too dumb to not know what unsolicited means, if you've ever sent somebody a picture of your pee-pee without them asking, you're a fucking creep. And you need to reevaluate some things before you end up like Jared Porter.
Today in one of my classes, we had a guest speaker, Nancy Armour. She's Nancy Armour. She's a USA Today sports writer. And I asked her today, I was like, hey, has anything like the Jared Porter incident happened to you? And she said, yes, with athletes. Because like she tries to get like a one-on-one comment from someone. And they're like, no, they just completely ignore her. And then his manager will come out and be like, he wants your number. And she's not, and then she's like, no, I'm not like, I'm doing my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just sick all around. And what's even more sad is that any woman our age in high school and up has probably received an unsolicited dick pic, which is,
it's sad. And it's predatory.
Disgusting. 2, as a guy myself, I never understood that. I've never understood the point of it. Like, if you take a quick step back, what's attractive about it? What about a dick? It makes you just go, that's what I'm talking about.
Things that make you go, ugh, right?
What are they going to do with that? Like, what if I'm at the gym? Or what if she's at the gym? Oh, hold up. I got to go home now. I'm so flustered. No.
And really it's any like nude photo, right? Like if it's a picture of you standing in the fucking mirror, like
hold up.
however you take a picture with no hands like this, I didn't think that all the way through. But like any of that is just it's so dumb. There's so much wrong with this story. I do applaud the Mets to an extent for taking such quick action to eliminate somebody like that. But you know that this is not an isolated incident. You don't just randomly send 62 text messages in a row without an answer to somebody one time, right? Like this is not an isolated incident. Somebody had to know about this. And I think it only became common knowledge. I think it only came out in this story from Jeff Passan and Mina Kimes. I think that only came out because he had reached this point in his career. And you know, it takes a lot of courage for anybody to come out and tell their story, tell their truth. And so I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it because it really lit my fire when I saw it. And again, this is more important than not having Barry Bonds, Kurt Schilling, or Roger Clemens in the Hall of Fame. This is much more important to talk about than that. So I just found it necessary that we bring it up. I found it necessary that we bring it up, talk about it, and
I mean, if you want to be real about this, as the segments go, that's basically what our thoughts and prayers are for, because it's sarcastic, like, hey, look at this loser.
Yeah, I just didn't want to put it in any sort of comedy because I don't want to misconstrue our intentions.
Oh, I know.
But that's what I have to say on all that.
And the people that listen know us, and if they don't, go back. This is 132 episodes. We've grown. We're grown men. We're here, women. We're here for the women. We're here for the ladies. We're here for everyone in that works.
We're here for sports, right? Like it doesn't have to be like we're specifically here for the women or we're specifically here for the men. We're just here for sports, and we believe women belong in sports. And so anybody who actively is against that or actively does something to thwart the efforts of women in sports, I don't fuck with.
Hey, Jared Porter, this is for you. Moving on to random thought. Sauce, what's a pregnancy belly?
Okay, hear me out. I understand the staunch contrast between what we're talking about and where we're going. So just so you are all aware, we know what is happening here, but we have to transition to the next phase. So put a hard break right here. But all right, random thought. This is a little bit more jovial. Pregnancy belly. So my roommate and I have been watching the Disney Plus series WandaVision, which, hear me out, Cub, is a Marvel TV series. Now, to spare you the details, Wanda, who is a mutant, if you will, and has specific powers, she becomes pregnant. Not almost, out of nowhere. Pretty much the Virgin Mary happens, and she's pregnant with twins. And in episode 3, spoiler alert, she has the twins. And so my roommate and I are watching, and she has the twins, and her stomach goes back to normal. Like it was big twins.
Like soon as she had it, like soon as she had them.
Soon as she had them, back to normal, and she was standing on her feet, which was a little crazy. The conversation that we had was that when a woman has a child, does the bump go away? Now, hear me out. I don't know. And you just made a comment a couple of minutes ago that we're grown men. And in a way,
it's irony.
In a way we are, but we're also not. So the conversation that we had, I reached out to my mother.
Hold on. To make us look better, scientists don't even understand the female anatomy yet. So we're fine. We're totally fine.
So the conversation that we had was, well, would that be a thing? Would her stomach go away? I had this theory. If you had a superficial tumor, right? Think of there to be a tumor on the top of my skin right here, right? Lump. If we dissect and take out the tumor and we stitch it back up without removing the excess skin that had formed, there would obviously still be a bubble of sorts, right? Loose skin, but it wouldn't be firm and hard as if there was a tumor in there.
It'd be like a shirt.
It would be like a shirt. Sure. Sure. Similarly, I think that if you have a kid or two, or if you're octomom, 9 children in your stomach, or in your womb, I should say, that once the contents of your womb are released, there should at least be some relief in the size of the bump, right? This is science. There is an actual answer.
What did your mom say? What did your mom say? So you're not just keep rambling.
My mom just laughed at me.
As she should. Yes, it goes away, but
eventually, right? Like there has to be some sort of swelling that has to go down postnatal, right?
So I think I'm going off of, I think I've asked my mom this question before at a correct age. So I probably asked this around 15.
Is this the correct age at 24? Should I be asking my mom this question? No,
that's why she laughed at you. So I'm pretty sure, obviously we all know my mom weighs 125 pounds. She's a stick.
Fighting out of the red corner.
I had 125 pounds. So like when my dad said he met my mom, she was a 2x4. So my mom is a very fragile woman. So her pregnant, she probably weighed 130 something pounds. And then now she's back. She's been thin her entire life. I think my mom just went on a lot of walks afterwards, like to burn off that excess. I don't know if it even call it fat. It's
baby weight.
The baby fat.
That's the unofficial term, I think, is baby weight, right?
Probably. So I mean, like it's like it's not like, say, my 600-pound life and then they lose all that weight and there's that excess skin. I think it's completely different than that. Because I didn't have that extra skin, but there's also different ways of losing weight. So if you like lose the weight correctly, you won't have that skin. Like I don't have that skin. I'm not bragging.
If somebody out there listening has been pregnant, please reach out via
if you've
DMs.
had sex unprotected and have had a child,
reach out to us at Call Podcast on Instagram or Twitter and tell us what happens to your stomach post-child in terms of losing the bump.
I have a hot take with who's going to respond to this for us.
Go ahead.
Arlene.
Or maybe Arlene. Who knows? Okay, we got to get going here because we have to get to CJ Marable very quickly.
Yeah.
So let's get through Thoughts and Prayers, Struggle Bus, Fake Taxi, and we still have to do Tinder Bios too. So real quick, thoughts and prayers, legitimate prayers out to the family of Hank Aaron, because this is important. This is not only a baseball icon, but an iconic human being in general, right? We think about a guy like Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier and did great things for Black people in America. Mm-hmm. But if you've ever seen 42, you know Jackie had to come at the game in a silent way, right? He couldn't address the racists. He couldn't do that type of stuff because that would have thwarted efforts for other Black Americans in baseball for decades, right? Mm-hmm. When Hank Aaron came around, they were in a position at that point to be boisterous and to start fighting for
they were
rights.
They were the era with Bill Russell, Jim Brown, and Muhammad Ali.
Correct. And you know, he did a lot more than hit the home runs. He did a lot more than break Babe Ruth's home run record, which during the time he was elevating to that point, he received death threats for even knocking on that doorstep. This was a guy that did a lot more than play baseball. He was very thoughtful in the way that he went about life. He knew that being just a kid from Mobile, Alabama, that when he did get big and famous, he couldn't forget about people like him when he was growing up. He couldn't forget about the common Black man, right? And that is that's incredible. He was an incredible human being.
And the thing is, people forget that before he broke Ruth's record, that whole period was probably the worst period of his life. With all the death threats and like, you better not break that record or we're going to kill you.
Right.
Like, can you imagine that? It's just a record.
I can't.
Records get broken I think there's nothing greater in the world of sports than when a massive record gets broken. Like we discuss this all the time in sports. Like, what's a record that can never get broken? Cal Ripken, the home run, blah, 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 blah. There's so many of them out there. And once someone's like about to break, it's like, holy shit, this is huge. This is massive. We never thought this would happen.
Like Oscar
Robinson and Russ. That's the last one I could think of. That was
imagine huge. If LeBron encroaches upon number one all time in scoring or whatever it might be, right? Like, that'll be something that we watch ever so closely. I did pick up the book. I Had a Hammer, and I will be starting this because I just wrapped up the Joe Buck experience. I think his book is called Lucky Bastard, and that was a great read. So I Had a Hammer is next. Quick story though, maybe two before we go. I'll be quick. When when Hank Aaron started playing baseball, he was not allowed to play baseball because his high school was segregated. And he didn't start playing baseball till his junior year of high school, if I remember correctly. He was a right-handed hitter. And as a right-handed hitter, normally your right hand will go on top, your left hand on bottom. The way that he started playing was left hand on top, right hand on bottom, as if he were a left-handed hitter, but he hit righty. Because he hit the baseball this way, because he swung the bat that way, it created massive forearms and crazy wrist strength for this individual. And that is part of the reason why 6 foot, 185 pound Hank Aaron was able to mash all the home runs he did.
I think I've known that, but I forgot about it. It's like the Jimi Hendrix plays the guitar upside down in opposite way.
Right. Other thing. There was a young bat boy named Stanley Burrell who was a bat boy for the Braves at the time that Hank Aaron was playing for the Atlanta Braves. Stanley Burrell looked incredibly like Hank Aaron. And so a teammate started to call Stanley Burrell Young Hammer. Well, years later, Young Hammer grew up. And can you guess his performance name? MC Hammer.
Is it really MC Hammer?
MC Hammer. Stanley Burrell.
That's his name?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I thought that was incredible. The way people eulogized him, go listen to some podcasts, go read some articles, because the way that they eulogized Hank Aaron was amazing. And you can learn so much through all of that. But let's move on.
All right, Struggle
Bus. Do you
Bus.
have an actual thought and prayer or no?
No, well, I'll use it for Struggle Bus because it's the same thing. So Struggle Bus. Aubrey Drake Graham has tore his ACL, and he's all no one's really talking about this, and I'm kind of upset about
I haven't seen this either.
Listen. Aubrey Drake Graham, Grammy Award-winning artist, has tore his ACL and is posting on his Instagram and social medias as if he's a Pro Bowl wide receiver in the NFL on his recovery coming back off ACL surgery. Aubrey, you're a normal ass person. Shut the hell up. And it's even funnier that he tore his ACL as a regular ass person.
Well, he'll be able to move through life just fine with a torn ACL. Like, if you were an athlete, that's obviously a huge, like, you have to go through so much therapy and whatnot just to get back. He'll be fine. That's hilarious.
It's so funny. He's a normal ass person.
You'll have to post some of that on the social media page. Like, take some screenshots of them and throw them up on the social media page, because I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers.
Struggle Bus, quick two-parter. Number one, Conor McGregor, knock the fuck out. Right, sleep. Of course, he makes more money than all of us combined, so good for him. But at the same time, Conor McGregor got
cool, Connor. You make more money than me. I'm 25.
Slept. Other one is Arizona spring training. Baseball promised us that their season would start on time and spring trainings would be good to go come February. But there has been a letter signed by multiple members of Maricopa County, where it's essentially the epicenter of the coronavirus at the moment. And it's basically all of these people from the county asking for baseball to delay the start of spring training in Arizona. And I think that's obviously a struggle bus situation, especially given all of the things that we've talked about from MLB today. But Jeff Bassan brings out a great point in all of this and said the most interesting part of this letter is the signature of the mayor of Glendale, Arizona, where the Arizona Coyotes are currently playing regular season NHL games in front of fans. So to me, this smells of a plan. Something's fishy. To me,
you're in the bushes.
To me, it seems that the MLB, because the Major League Baseball would just be dumb. But MLB has a plan, and I think that they're going to blame the late start again on the coronavirus, but they're trying to build up to it, right? They told us we're going to have a full season, we promise. And now things are starting to fall apart a little bit because Passan brings up a great point. NHL is playing indoors with fans, and we can't play baseball?
I don't get it, Sauce. I don't get it.
I'm just saying.
Hey, Twitter world, I'm just saying.
Fake taxi has to go to GameStop stock, which this is an incredible revelation in the timeline of social media. We have gotten to the point where memes are affecting the stock market. This is the first time I can remember that there's been a meme stock, right? There was I don't know the origins of it, but a meme started where everybody said buy stock in GameStop, and they did. And I know of one like regular person who made $100,000 off of this. Bought it at the right time, caught the fucking wave, and all the way to the top he goes. Incredible. The other thing is the city of Tampa, and I think that I did this because if you remember back in February of last year, I visited the city of Tampa Bay, and from that point, the Tampa Bay Lightning went on to the playoffs. I believe they won the Stanley Cup. I don't know anything about hockey. Don't come at me. The Rays went to the World Series and lost. And now the Buccaneers and Ted Larson are in the Super Bowl.
So is this fake taxi the city of Tampa, or is this Big Dick Sauce?
This is a three-parter. GameStop stock, the city of Tampa, and Big Dick Sauce. Three-parter of
this is perfect.
Taxi.
This is a perfect transition into my fake taxi because Bernie Sanders is fucking everybody, and I have on my phone my favorite Bernie Sanders Photoshop of them all. And Sauce,
use the influencer hand.
Are you ready, Sauce? Give me a drum roll. That's not a drum roll. Come on, do it. Do little taps. All right, fine.
Oh, is that wood?
It's wood.
Is that wood? That's great. That's good. Okay. Take that off before we get demonetized.
This will be
great.
Not for kids on YouTube.
Here's the thing. The Bernie Sanders meme was incredible. It was funny. It was exactly what we needed for Inauguration Day, but it quickly turned into a demon that I hated.
After the first day, it was like, okay, this isn't even funny. It really wasn't that funny. It was just cute. It was just pure because it's Bernie.
Right.
So,
but I got pretty tired of it very quickly.
I just want to bring it up because we love wood. That's the only reason.
Right. Very similar to Trevor Bauer's free agency situation. I got very tired of it very quickly.
The Yankees Twitter won't shut up. We're not getting Trevor Bauer. We're getting that. We got Jameson.
Jameson Taillon. Yes, it was a great pitcher, by the way. All right, it's time for Tinder bios. I wish I had like some sort of editing skills.
Imagination.
But yeah, use your imagination for a Tinder bios banner, and we'll jump in. Cub, 3 lucky ladies are here this evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on when you, the listener, are listening to this. But they're here, and they're vying for your availability. Our first contestant on Tinder bios is Rosalie, who is a bisexual woman from Livonia, which allegedly is only 6 miles away from you, but here's what she has to say. My main goal in life is to have all my laundry done at the same time. Mary Jane is my first love. I love to cook, dance, watch TV, and sleep. I was once told, please do not put your face that close to the art. I watch baking shows the way men watch football, so if you expect me to yell at your sports, I expect you to yell at the dumb bitch making a bad cake. I kind of like the finishing line.
I kind of like that ending. That's actually pretty clever.
Okay.
Rosalie, you can stay for a minute.
Okay.
But
next up
is
Trey. Trey is spelled like a lunch tray.
Does she have a basketball game tomorrow?
She has shoe game, and she's a point guard. She's a professional medical patient, and she lives in San Diego. My illness may be chronic, but my tits are still iconic. Disabled, basically fragile as fuck, and probably have more in common with your grandma and G-Pops than you. Former psychologist, but now dipping my toes into the entertainment industry, which could mean porn. Looking to network with other creative individuals and make new connects. Unsolicited dog pics, always welcome. Unsolicited dick pics, not so much. 100% going to ignore if you call me a patronizing pet name. And that's Trey.
What does she mean by patronizing pet name? Like if I call her like Pumpkin?
Baby, Pumpkin, Toots.
I lost my train of thought. She kind of scares me.
Well, hold on to her for just a second.
Yeah. We'll wait.
Because next up is Olivia, who's 24, and she lives a mile away from you, Cub. And she says, that was pretty cringe, dude. Only in Chicago until April. Tinder is not real, and I don't take this seriously. I don't have a job, and I don't want to talk about work.
How's she going to talk about work if she ain't got a job?
I am not here for sex. I'm messy, and I'm okay with that. If you're looking for someone with their shit together, swipe left. I draw. Maybe I'll show you one day. Maybe. Sober. Sorry. I think I know where this is going to go. I will now, as the host.
No.
Step back.
No. I need your opinion on this. Can we just talk about what's the last one's name? What's her name?
Olivia.
Can we talk about Olivia? Like, none of that made her sound fun.
No.
Like none of that made her sound fun. Like, okay, cool. Everyone on Tinder says I'm not here for sex. Cool. Completely fine. You draw. Cool.
That's
hobby.
the only thing she has to offer for you.
So your whole life is just paintings and drawings, and you got that little. Forget it. I don't know the word. The little tripod thing where you paint on.
An easel?
Yes, an easel. She's got that. What if her apartment is just the easel? Like a white room, and then it's in the corner, like where I put my ring light. Olivia, see you later.
Okay, so that now leaves us with Rosalie and our other friend, Trey.
Read me Trey's one more time after that was so cringe.
That Olivia said that's so cringe.
Oh, never mind. Then reread Trey's for me one more time.
Well, remember, Trey said that she has an illness that is chronic. Her tits are iconic, and she has more in common with G-Ma and G-Pops. She is a former psychologist in the entertainment industry now. She wants to network and meet more creative individuals. No dick pics. No dick pics, but she'll take dog pics.
Okay. One, if she's really in the porn industry, I will say a prayer for her because that's tough. I've been listening.
It might not be the porn industry.
I've been listening
it's
to like
probably not the porn industry if she's fragile.
I've been listening to like the inside scoop of like the porn industry. It's a scary place.
Sure.
It's a scary place. And there's a lot of porn stars that you and I probably know, and they're dead. We didn't even know that. And they're like, it's scary. So I'll tell you later.
From porn or?
No, they killed themselves or they drug overdosed.
Oh.
So let's go the safe route. Let's go with Rosalie.
Okay, Rosalie's 19.
She's of age. She's probably gonna be turning 20 soon, so I won't look like as much of a creep. Maybe I'll wait till her birthday. All
right. Well, while Cub goes and finds Rosalie on social media, I will wrap up the beginning portion of this podcast. We're going to transition into the interview with CJ Marable, draft prospect and former running back at Coastal Carolina University. Reminder that you can follow the podcast on social media at Call Podcast. That's Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as well. You can search the Missed Call Podcast on YouTube. On Instagram, I am Sauce Sartori. On Twitter, I'm Life of Sartori.
Instagram, 3COLBY. Twitter, just look up Cubwood. No one else is named Cubwood, so.
We thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to get to the interview now. Enjoy your week. Do you have anything else to say?
Love you guys. And now welcoming on former Coastal Carolina running back CJ Marable. CJ, thank you so much for stopping by to talk to us today.
Thanks for having me.
We're super excited to have you on because, obviously you had a phenomenal season, and we'll talk about that, but also so did Coastal. You guys finished 12th to finish the season.
Yep.
I mean, we can even talk about the Mormons versus Mullets game, which was all over the country. Everybody was tuned into that one. And on top of that, you guys were in the Cure Bowl, and you had the Coach of the Year as well with Jamie Chadwell.
Gotcha. Yep.
So we're excited to jump into all of that. I think the only place to start is with Mormons versus Mullets, the game that you guys had against BYU. And I'm sure you've been asked time and time again, explain this game, explain it. What did it mean to you guys? But like what I've seen is that you guys went into this feeling really disrespected. And what most of the major media did for this game was, well, they kind of almost seemed like they wanted BYU to win.
Exactly. That, like you said, I felt going to the game just felt like we were being disrespected. This game was actually like, I would say because it was unpredictable because we didn't supposed to be playing BYU, we were supposed to be playing Liberty, so it was last minute. So like going into it preparation wise, we only had like 2 days to prepare for BYU. Actually, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
So, but also with us feeling like we were being disrespected, it put a little edge on us with only practicing like for 2 days preparing for them. It also gave us like an extra boost, like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna shock the world.
100%. I mean, I've never obviously played college football. I don't know if you can tell just from looking at me, but I've never played college football. I don't know that disrespect, especially at the D1 level. But yeah, like I said, it really seemed like the media, everyone, the way that they were portraying it was like, oh, this is BYU's game to lose. But no one truly respected you guys until this game, and you guys showed up not only in executing the game plan, but you guys showed attitude that game on both sides of the ball, and it was really compelling football.
Yep. That game probably be my favorite game during the whole season. So like you said, everybody was so hyped up. We just showed like attitude. Like we didn't care who it was. We didn't care if it was BYU. We didn't care who we were playing. We were just ready to play, and we showed it.
Yeah, and it did show. It showed through big time. I want to talk about the name of the game, right? Mormons versus Mullets. how involved were you in that process of naming it, or at least at Coastal in naming it that? Because it was reminiscent. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't even know how that came. Like, I don't know what be going on. Like, I was not involved in that at all.
You're not a mullet guy?
I'm a fan of it, but no, I'm not rocking it.
He's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. Like my boy Teddy and Silas, like I'm all in for.
Hey, they look good in the mullet. They look good in the mullet.
So they do, especially Teddy, how he got it blonde. He got it dyed, then he got the design on the side. No, yeah, Teddy be rocking it.
The modern day Bosworth, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, just an awesome game. Now, I wanted to talk about a little bit about your journey to Coastal, right? Because
you forgot, Sauce, you forgot to ask the biggest question about BYU. What was it like playing dads?
I totally forgot. Yeah.
What's it like playing dads?
Playing who?
Dads. Like those guys are like 35.
Oh, yeah. Them boys is old though. Yeah, it was crazy though. It was crazy. Like I could like really honestly say, BYU, like you could feel the strength on them. Like them boys were strong though, because you tell they were older. So them hits was kind of different.
They had that dad strength.
Yeah, they had dad strength for real. Them tackles were kind of different.
Well, so you are the third guy that we've talked to from like different teams. We talked to a guy who played at Western. We talked to a guy who played at Boise State. Now we're talking to you. You're the third guy that we've talked to who's played BYU this year. And this is a question that we have to keep asking because they are much older than everybody else. And it's kind of crazy. And that's the first time we've heard like, yeah, it did feel a little bit different playing them.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely felt like NFL hits.
Was the trash talk different?
Oh no, they was not talking at all. They were actually like real nice.
They can't cuss.
Yeah, they would help you up, tapping you on your head, good job, and stuff like that. They were just real nice. They were just telling me how much they respect me and stuff like that. They were super nice and respectful.
Did they try to convert you to Mormonism?
No.
Like, come on over. We just drink pop.
So our buddy Mason, who plays tackle at Western Kentucky, he was talking about how during the game they told these two guys on the defense, they were like, yeah, we'll definitely take a picture with you after the game or whatever. We'd love to be Mormons. They sent them a Book of Mormon.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. They're very serious about their conversion rates at BYU.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you could have added to your book collection, but alas, no Book of Mormon for you, CJ. Okay, let's talk about your journey to Coastal, because I think it's quite compelling. You were recruited by Arkansas State, and then something happened. I'll let you tell that portion of the story. Presbyterian comes in, you play for Presbyterian, and then you find your way to Coastal, where you're now the second all-time leading rusher in the program. I mean, it's a really compelling story. I'd like for you to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, my journey was really crazy coming out of high school. Out of high school, I signed to Arkansas State. Mm-hmm. On signing day, I signed and everything was official. Everything was legit. But like 2 days later, they called me and told me that my ACT score is low. So what they told me what I'm gonna have to do is get a new take the test over during the summer, and then I was gonna blue shirt. So I was gonna come in the spring semester instead of the fall semester. So I was cool with it. Then I took my test during the summer. I took my test. I got a 21, and then everything was good. Everything was official. They were like, okay, so in the spring we're gonna see you in the spring. Around by October, November, December, they was not contacting me no more at all. I was hitting them up, cause we'll contact each other like probably like. Me and the recruiting coach, we'll talk to each other probably like roughly like 2 days every week after every week, the whole week. So we'll talk to each other. And like October, November, December, he just stopped communicating with me. So I would call him, trying to figure out what's going on. My mom calling me and telling me what isn't when I'm reporting to college. So because she doing college packing for my dorm and stuff like that. She buying stuff for my dorm and everything. But yeah, they just stopped contacting me. So I test them. I texted him, I said, man, I feel like we just go separate ways or release me from the NLI. And he texted me right away. He said, okay. So I don't know what happened. He released me.
That almost
wild.
sounds like they wanted you to do that. They were waiting for you to make that move.
Exactly. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to this day. And then I was about to go to JUCO, but Presbyterian College came along and offered me a full ride. He said, look, if you could be here on I think it was like on a Friday. And he was like, hey, you could be here Tuesday for a ride. So I was like, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bet I'll be there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what it was. That's how I ended up going to Presbyterian College. I had a great freshman year there. Gained a lot of friendships there. Ended up going to my head coach at Presbyterian College helped me transfer to Coastal. He had a relationship with Jamie Chadwell, which is the head coach now in Coastal, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
So
and I read that you go ahead, Cub.
It's got to be bittersweet then going to Coastal and then demolishing them this past Arkansas State this past year. Dude, you had what?
Oh yeah,
100 yards, 2 touchdowns. You went off.
Yeah, most definitely. Like that game. Every time we play Arkansas State, like I be motivated. Like I just feel some type of way. I just be feeling different. Like even from my sophomore year when I was at Coastal, that was one of the reasons I really went to Coastal, to be honest, to play against Arkansas State. So every year I played against Arkansas State, I had a good game.
I found that interesting that you said the BYU game was your favorite, and I was like, well, hold up, I got something else for you to ask.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and I read that at Presbyterian you had a really great relationship with your head coach there, and it kind of renewed your love for football in a way.
Yep, exactly.
Which is, I mean, important.
Right, exactly. Because you know, like when situation happened like that with the situation I had with Arkansas State, like anybody could feel like they could feel like their dreams they feel like their dreams are just not going to happen. Like they just give up on their dreams and they just, you know, just don't never they just not determined. You know what I'm saying? I just stayed determined and I stick to the plan that I had in my head and I executed it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like I said, a really compelling story, and now you're on the doorstep of the NFL draft, and I mean, who would have thought?
Exactly.
Probably you, right?
Right. Just me. Yeah, just me. That's all. That's all that matters, though. Just you. Alone, you know what you gonna do and what you got to do to take. You know what I'm saying, to get to that position. That's all that matters.
100%. Just besides you having a special season, Coastal just in general had a special season. You guys basically put yourselves on the map this year.
Yeah, we knew what type of team we had. Also, like we knew coming into like after last year, the season that we had, we knew we were pretty good. It was just a little small stuff that we had to finish up. We just didn't know how to finish last year. That's all it was. But we was a good team last year, so we knew coming to this year, we knew like all the scenes came together, and we're like, man, we gonna take control and we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna end it the right way. So we knew what type of team. Yeah, we knew what type of team we had. But to be honest, I didn't know we'll be I didn't know we were gonna finish like 9 in the country and nothing like that. But I knew for sure that we'll be in the Sun Belt Championship and we'll be playing in the bowl game. We knew that most definitely.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm happy that you brought up the Sun Belt Championship because it's something I wanted to ask you about. That game was canceled because of COVID concerns.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting because last night was the college football championship game, and that game itself had a ton of COVID concerns, but still they pushed through and they had the game anyway. Right. For you and even for other teams that were in that situation where they had bowl games canceled, they had championship games canceled, did you guys at all, or maybe even specifically just you, did you roll your eyes at all at seeing something like that and being like, yeah, of course, they're helping out the big boys?
Oh, no, not really, because I feel like ours was kind of different because our whole position group, like defensive lineman, the whole defensive lineman position group wouldn't have to play. They couldn't play because of the defensive lineman coach had COVID. So defensive lineman position group couldn't play. So I mean I knew what it was. Like we can't play without them. That's probably like one of our strongest positions on the team. We need defensive linemen. So we couldn't play without them. So I knew what it was. It's all good.
On top of all the COVID stuff, it just adds to how special your season was. Because I bet without all that other stuff, it could have been even more or less. You just never know.
Just never know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you guys seized the opportunity, and we were all pleasantly surprised by Coastal Carolina this year and your play as well. I mean, you had a phenomenal year, first team all conference. Again, you became the second leading rusher in the program's history, and number 5 this year in total touchdowns scored.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I could sit here and read off attributes and read off accomplishments all day long, but I know that the next thing for you is got to be one of the Senior Bowls, right? You've been invited to 3 of the really big ones. Have you decided where you're going to play yet?
Well, as of right now, they're not having a game like the NFLPA Bowl or the East-West Shrine Bowl. They're not having a game, but they having virtual calls. They're doing it on virtual, everything on virtual. So you talk to NFL scouts or you talk to former NFL players, NFL Hall of Famers, and stuff like that. They have a different event. So I'm going to do both of them. I'm going to do the NFLPA and the East-West Shrine.
It's so weird.
That'll be interesting.
It's just so weird the time. Like, it's not a bowl game, but, I mean, getting to talk to those people, that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
you get a lot of insight to the game.
Yep, that's pretty dope. It's a good experience, good opportunity. So,
well, I'm happy that you brought that up, right? Because part of the pre-draft process is the pre-draft interviews, and you might not be able to do some of them this year, but let's maybe do a little practice round, right? Okay. I've put together a couple of questions here, CJ, that I'm hoping will be able to prepare you for some of these pre-draft interviews. We're going to answer them together. Maybe this will help you out, maybe not. Question number 1. You've just rushed for 1,000 yards for the first time in the NFL. What are you going to buy your offensive line?
Probably all of them Rolexes.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
Yeah,
I got one. So these are actually crazy that I've heard. So I got one for you. Your house is on fire. You have 10 seconds to get out of the house. What things are you grabbing? You got 3 things you can grab. What are you grabbing?
Do I have kids?
No, it's just you.
Just me?
It's just you.
Okay.
He's like, crap, 10 seconds. I got 10 seconds.
Listen, we're gonna assume that your phone is just attached to you. So you don't have to worry about your phone. You get your phone.
I got my phone and keys and wallet.
Yes.
Okay, I got that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my shoes, most definitely. My cologne. I'm trying to grab as many clothes I can get.
What kind of cologne is it?
Oh, I love cologne. I got all types of cologne. I'm grabbing all of them.
He's going into a bag.
Yeah. I got all of them. I'm going to grab all of them.
Look good. It's usually look good, play good. But in this case, it's look good, smell good, play good.
Yeah.
Got it.
He's like, I got no more house. He's like, I got no more house, so I got to be spraying this, so I can't take a shower anywhere.
Okay, next question. You have returned punts and kicks in your college career. Can you name anything scarier? Like, to me, I guess maybe to me as an outsider looking in, returning punts and kicks looks absolutely terrifying.
The punts. I can say the punts are scarier than the kickoffs, catching the kickoffs. But yeah, the punts are scarier. Especially like, you can't, like the punters nowadays, they so good, they so high, you can't even judge the ball. And then you got people screaming down at you. So yeah, you just don't know.
So is there anything scarier than returning punts?
Doing football, that's more scary because you don't want to drop the ball, so it's just scarier. It's just scary.
And those gunners are nuts. Gunners are nuts.
Oh,
those are different breeds.
Oh yeah, I play gunner also. Like I love gunner. I love that position.
It's hard not to. You get to go.
I really love special teams though. I feel like that's the most important phase of the game, special team.
I read that you're willing to play literally anywhere that they need you to play in the NFL, and I love that.
Anywhere. I don't care what it is. I could be catching the field goal. I could be catching a snap for the field goal kicker. It don't matter.
Well, it'd be kind of like Spice Adams, right? Where he's got the video and he's saying, I could play quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defensive end, safety.
Head coach, defensive line coach.
Yeah.
Quarterback
Love
coach.
it. I love that answer. Okay. This last one is important. The answer is very important. When it comes to football, what is the most overrated part about football? And there's only really one good answer if we're doing a pre-draft interview.
The most overrated
Yeah.
about football?
We'll let the ambulance go by.
Yeah. This is the second one of the interview.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
That is a great answer.
Yeah,
because at least to me, right? If I'm a team, I'm thinking, well, if I ask this question, what's overrated about football? Hopefully nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Nothing's overrated about.
Exactly. See, that's a trick question, but you answered it correctly. You're ready for this.
Yeah.
You're ready.
So outside of all these nonsense questions, what are you doing to prepare for the draft?
Oh, right now I'm down in Nashville. I'm training at the facility called Boost Fit Performance. So we just training, we just grinding every day. Like Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays we doing combine drills work. We practice on our 40, practice on our L drill, practice on 3-cone drills, and verts, all that. Getting stronger and everything. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays we just do position work and we just recover. That's basically our recovery days. But we do position work. We got position coaches up here and just training us position wise.
You what are your thoughts on like the combine potentially being canceled?
I hope it don't.
It's such a big opportunity for people.
That's the dream. Like that's just a dream for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I watch combine on TV. Like I love the combine.
For hours on end, I love watching the combine.
Yeah, so I hope they don't cancel. I hope they find something. Hope they find something better to do.
There's got to be I feel like there's got to be a way to do it virtually, right? Because I've seen in certain colleges, they've done virtual races where essentially they videotape and time like a race around the track. And then they submit their times online, and that just has to be given. Now, certainly when we're talking about jockeying for position in the NFL draft, there might be some reason to shave off a 1/10 of a second or whatever in a 40 time or add an extra inch onto a vertical. So I would assume there would have to be a lot more strict governing of it, but I'm sure there has to be a way to do it online, right?
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna I don't know what they're gonna do, to be honest. I hope they find a way, like you said.
And the thing with the draft is there's always that like one guy that they bring the storyline around, like Shaquem Griffin, the one with the one hand. Like he was the talk of the draft, and like had incredible numbers.
Yep, exactly. So people need to combine.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, people need to combine, especially real. I feel like I need it. So I hope they don't cancel it.
And then maybe Mike Madoff will be talking about your bubble butt.
Who knows? Anything's possible. Couple of questions coming down the stretch here, CJ. We know that Coastal Carolina has the teal field. We've recently had a friend of the show on, Shane Irwin, who plays at Boise State with the blue field. Mm-hmm. Who has the OG colored field?
I think we gotta have. I think I feel better.
I'll say this. That's what I like the teal versus the blue. Right. I will have to say that. I definitely think it's better. That's unquestionable. Teal's a better looking color.
Right. The blue is just weird. It's just, I don't know. It's just blue. Like even with the teal field, like you really don't like when you playing on it, you don't know that we playing on the teal field.
Well, you're only a couple shades away from green.
Exactly, but I feel like with you at Boise and you playing you playing on the blue field, I feel like that's a distraction.
And allegedly, Cub talk to him about the geese that die because of the blue field.
Supposedly.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, supposedly they just dive.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
What are your thoughts on who's got the red turf?
Who got the red turf?
Is it
Anywho,
I thought it was another Carolina school, but
yeah. Whatever Carolina school, but the red has to be the worst one.
Yeah, that's too hot, especially if it's in Carolina in the summertime doing some of the workouts. It's too hot.
No thanks. I'm out.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon Fi that just flames on the turf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cub, you've got the Reggie Bush question. I'm going to ask this one. What's one thing that a novice football player, or rather a novice football fan, wouldn't know about playing the running back position?
It's a lot that you got to understand about the running back position, like alignments, where you be alignment and steps before you get the ball, who you blocking on this blocking play. You got to have vision, patience. Patience is key. Especially nowadays, you got to know how to catch the ball out of the backfield.
Which you do know how to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, stuff like that.
You mentioned patience. I'm curious, like, how do you know when, obviously you're waiting for the hole to open up, but how do you know when to react? Like, oh, the hole's not going to be there. Like, what do you do and how do you train for that?
I feel like you have to be born with it. To be honest, I feel like you just have to be born with it. It got to be a gift.
And if you're not born with it, you become a cornerback.
Exactly. Or linebacker or something.
Linebacker too.
So, CJ, you were interviewed by Reggie Bush. How awesome was that?
That was amazing. Like, I grew up looking up to Reggie Bush. You know what I'm saying? I used to print out his pictures on Google. I used to print them out and put them in front of my binder for school. Like, it was just crazy. I used to play the game NCAA.
Yeah.
I used to play with USC. I used to play for like Reggie Bush. Like, it was just crazy. It was a crazy experience. Like, I don't know. I just looked up to him. I wore number 5 in high school because of Reggie Bush.
Did you fanboy at all?
Nah.
Oh, ice in his veins.
So
Yeah.
There's a reason he brings that up. We just did an interview recently with a prospect in the Chicago Cubs organization. And I don't know if you can tell from the attire, but I am a Chicago Cubs fan. And I let my emotions get the best of me in that interview. And I got a little excited. But I'm going to this is the inner football guy within me. I'm going to study the tape. I'm going to watch your interview with Reggie Bush tirelessly.
Okay.
So that this never happens again.
I was excited a little bit.
Oh, no.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
I was excited a little bit. I was kind of too excited.
I'd have been tapping my foot on the ground the entire time, like, yeah, thanks, Reggie. Yeah.
I would have been. My eyes would have probably been real big the whole time. Like, yeah, most definitely. Yeah,
Reggie, your hairline looks better right here than it does on TV.
See, I ain't doing all that.
Reggie Bush, in that moment, Reggie Bush could have told me that his name was Sauce Sartori, and I would have been like, yeah, it is. You're right. Well, CJ, listen, man, we're so pumped to have had you on the show. And just because you were on the show, just know that from here on out, you've got 2 guys in your corner forever and always. Like, no matter where you end up in the NFL, like, you're going to be hearing from us.
Yep, most definitely.
Any slander on the social medias,
you send it our way. Send it our way.
Just DM us. Hey, don't even acknowledge it. We got your back. We're your burner accounts, but you don't run those accounts.
Right.
We'll embarrass each other instead of you having to say something.
Baker Mayfield has to deal with Colin Cowherd. Eventually, there's going to be a beat writer that says something nasty about you. You send him our way. We'll take care of it.
Bet. Appreciate that.
Even if your career goes as long as Frank Gore's, we're there. If we're done doing this podcast and stuff and we're out like selling stocks, we'll figure it out.
That's the miscalled promise.
Bet. Appreciate that.
Of course. All right, CJ, we'll let you go, man. Thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us. Good luck in the draft. And again, we'll be cheering for you and handling all of your business on social media for you.
Gotcha. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one, CJ.
All I got is missed calls on my line, yeah. Never seen a pick up, right on time, yeah. If I don't call back, leave me alone.